pleased with the first scrimmage. Obviously, we're a work in progress. Going in, I knew we'd have work to do, but overall, I thought our defense, opportunity to tackle, shoot angles looked pretty good, and I thought we gang tackled well. I'm particularly pleased with our defensive front. I thought they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback today and established the line of scrimmage. I thought it's always dangerous to single out a couple guys from the scrimmage, but Mark Nazacha really, I thought, ran well and made some nice plays out there over on defense. Offensively, DJ had a nice run at the beginning part of the scrimmage, showed some good speed, and so we made progress there. Got some injuries. Some guys did not go through the scrimmage. Tanner Gentry, I'm reading right here, Malika Muhammad, Jake Jones, and Keenan Montgomery did not go through the scrimmage. Anybody that got hurt today, Jacob Hollister, the tight end, actually tried to go but was not able to, and so went through the scrimmage. I don't think we had any significant injuries. We'll certainly know more come Monday, but right now there was nothing that came apparent. So it was a good start, and but it is a start. I mean, we've got ways to go, but I was pleased with the effort and the execution. Ball was on the ground from a quarterback snap standpoint too much, but I thought our running backs and receivers did a nice job securing the football. Would like to see maybe some more takeaways over on defense, but we need to credit our offense for taking care of the football. So, questions?
Coach, that quarterback center, is that just an exchange problem, or is it on the quarterback end, or is it just working with the center?
Well, it's an exchange problem, because sometimes if you pin it on the center, the quarterback's got to get in there and ride it a little bit more. But those are things that typically, as you go through spring football, when you're in a live situation, it's different when you're out there and there's not a coach and things like that. But we got to clean that up. But I think that's something that is fairly easy to correct.
Craig, is anyone starting to separate themselves in that quarterback thing? I know you still got a lot of evaluation, but is anyone separating themselves?
Right. Well, I would say from the naked eye, I thought Colby did a little bit better job today, and certainly he's a veteran player. Aaron's new, and Sam did some good things, and we'll certainly watch the tape and evaluate the tape. But from my perspective, I thought Colby did some good things today. Got the ball downfield, and I was really pleased with how our receivers caught the football. I know that we've got quite a bit of depth and some pretty good playmakers at receiver, and I thought they did a nice job today.
Coach, you mentioned receivers, had a little bit of a couple of injuries coming in. Mm-hmm. Was there anybody who kind of stepped up specifically there, or was it just?
Yeah, most. I did not notice anything that was extraordinary or outstanding, but I thought there was good performance all the way around. Coach Burns did a nice job with that group. I thought their routes were precise. They came out of the breaks well, and not every ball was thrown perfectly. And I thought they didn't have any drops that I thought just looked like the guy just dropped the ball. We certainly didn't complete every pass, but overall it was a good performance by our receiving corps.
Craig, you've mentioned about the defensive line a lot already this spring, but I know in the past that the depth wasn't really there. Are you starting to see some depth, whether it's at end or tackle? Is that starting to emerge?
I would say no, not right now. I'd like to say yes. I think there's a little bit of depth at the end position. There's not as much depth at the defensive tackle position as what we'd like. Our front four, pretty physical. I think we still need to improve on our speed and explosion, but as far as just establishing the line of scrimmage, that front four did a nice job today. We're going to need to supplement and develop that group a little bit more, because typically defensive linemen, that's almost like sumo wrestling. I mean, you got it's tiring. You got to play more than just four guys.
Craig, you mentioned Nazacha. What did you like about his game in particular today?
Well, he's moved around an awful lot since he's been here, and so to get in and playing linebacker in the Tampa too is a complicated position. We always knew he had good ability. He could cover a lot of ground, but just that transition. And I thought he did a nice job today. Certainly you can tell he can close, and he's got good range, and he did a nice job tackling today.
Coach, what did you see from special teams today? You mentioned you're going to do punt returns, punts, those kind of things.
Yeah, our snaps, by and large, were good, and that's something you always get concerned about. with special teams. We had one high snap on a field goal, but Sam got it down. Our punter did okay, and Stu did a nice job kicking the ball. We're really working on the trajectory, getting the ball up. The timing was good, so we're pleased there. We came after more punts today, so we weren't really working on punt return. So that aspect, we didn't get anything blocked, which was good.
Craig, moving ahead, I mean, you still got a lot of spring football left. Will you start adjusting reps now based on this first scrimmage, or will it still be a lot of the same reps for the same amount of guys as you go into your second one next week?
That's a good question. I don't think we'll depart a great deal on the number of repetition. And we've got to develop depth on this football team. It's a learning process, and there's no better place to learn other than spring football. And for us to think, okay, we're going to establish our 11 starters on offense and defense, we're not going to go very far in the Mountain West Conference. You're going to get guys injured, and so we've got to continue to coach them all. And so our number of repetition and the adjustments there won't change, but we'll start to solidify a depth chart. Whether that comes out on Monday or not, we'll have some form of one, but I don't think it's going to certainly be etched in stone. It'll be fairly fluid, but today's an opportunity for guys to begin to separate some places.
Coach, was there any one place where you were pleasantly surprised today, or maybe disappointed in the other direction? Did anything kind of stand out that way?
I was pleased with our tackling. Not to say that it was all perfect, and not to say that we can't improve, but for going through the NCAA limits the number of days that you can have live contact. And so you go out there, and guys, we've been practicing, but we haven't had a lot of opportunities, unlike the old days when I was playing, tackled every day. But I thought our defensive guys tackled fairly well. It wasn't like there were tons of missed tackles, and I think a lot of it is their effort, guys being in position, they're being coached well fundamentally. And so that was, I was pleased with that. The other portion that there were not as many miscues offensively as what I thought there would be. And we weren't installing a new system. It was fairly complicated. It wasn't like today we were just not doing shifts, motions, and things like that. There was a lot of those things. And so I was pleased with that. I thought we did fairly well on that. And I thought for short intermediate routes, we threw the ball fairly well, particularly off the play action, rollouts, and things like that.
Craig, do you come out of here today with a little better feel of what you have and how everything's progressing a little bit?
Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. As a coach, you take a pretty measured look at that, and you start to form some assessment. Okay, where are our strengths on our football team, and how can we leverage those strengths? And I think that's probably one of the biggest jobs I have as a head football coach. Beyond all the X's and O's, okay, where are we strong, and where are some of our deficiencies, and how we're going to cover up those deficiencies, and how we can accentuate those things that are strengths. And I mentioned those strengths today. And it's always difficult a little bit during spring football, because if you're making big plays on one side of the football, if your glass is half empty, you're saying, well, we're really not very good over here. Well, by and large, maybe we're pretty good here. And so the eye and sky doesn't lie. Once we have a chance to get in that film room, there'll probably be a couple things that will sort out that maybe I have not mentioned, but I think I got a pretty good pulse after this first scrimmage.